Hi, I'm David Norris and I'm serving up the perfect podcast, Pompey Patter with Ross, Daz and Haz. Play up, Pompey.
He used to be a waiter, did David Norris. Well, he's served up the perfect cocktail here.
Gera back to goal, Lang. Needs a bit of help. Goodness from Lang. What can he do? Still there, Lang. Lang! You wouldn't believe it! Cross comes into the near post. Headers into the net! Shaughnessy! Surely Pompey are heading for the championship! Portsmouth are promoted as League One champions!
Right, good evening. Welcome to Pompey Patter podcast, episode 17, Walking in a Winter Wonderlang. Joined ever by Harry and Daz. Evening, gents.
Evening. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. All had a good one?
Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
good.
All good.
Same old, isn't it?
Family time, presents, food, booze. What's not to like, apart from yesterday?
Well, we'll get on to yesterday, but we'll first just have a little run through of what's on offer tonight. Let me just get up my notes. So we're going to do a review of the Coventry game. We're also going to have a review of the game yesterday. Preview of Sunday's game against Bristol City and also the Swansea game on New Year's Day. And then we're going to have a look back over 2024. And then we're going to do Harry's Who Am I? And any other business. Right, boys, let's start off with a big positive. Pompey versus Coventry. Lovely 4-1 win. Is it fair to say I can't be the only one that was sat there after 10 minutes thinking, this is another derby?
I think we all sat there thinking that, weren't we? It was a pretty dire first 10 minutes. I mean, I'm unconvinced whether it was a foul on Lang on the build up to the first one when watching it back, because you only get that. There's only that one camera angle in the highlights, so it's tough to see. I think he probably dives looking back at it, but
it was right in front of me. That's pretty much where I sit, and at the time I thought he dived.
I thought, obviously, when you immediately see it, you're going to appeal when your player goes down. But as I said, when I look back at it, I thought he's probably dived. But then how they were allowed to just, what was it, within two passes, one into the midfield and then one out to Mason Clark. He just literally kind of, Swanson kind of jockeys him, which is fine. He doesn't let him come in on his stronger right foot, which is what he normally does. But this time he allows him. He doesn't kind of go in for a challenge, but he kind of jockeys him for almost half the pitch. And he goes down the outside, crosses it in. Towler loses his man, get kind of bit of ball watching, and it's Bassett at the back post 1-0. I would say I thought it was a hint of offside, because I thought Rodoni, their number 5, who went for it at the front post, I felt he was offside and he played for the ball. So I felt that should have been offside, but it was close. So without VAR, it goes your way sometimes.
I've watched that back again and again, slowed it down. I think he was offside, but for me to say and moan at the linesman when I've had to watch it about 20 times myself.
Yeah, it's close. It's so tight, isn't it?
Yeah.
If he sees it, you go, oh, well done, he's seen that.
Yeah.
But the other point is, it's so tight.
I don't even think he probably even realised that the other player went for it, to be honest.
No, he might not have seen it because Bassett and Towler were probably potentially blocking his view as well.
Mm.
So you're 1-0 and you're like, right, okay, it's the exact opposite of what we wanted. And then, again, they break on us and we're in up. Bassett starts from his own half, another pass from midfield, in between Pack and Towler. Bassett's 1-on-1 and you're thinking, fuck, if this goes 2-0 within 5 minutes, we're probably looking at Derby again. And thank God for Nicholas Schmid. And that was, we'll get on to talk about Lang and the magnificence of his 4 goals. But I do feel that was probably the turning point in the match, that save. Because if that does go 2-0 after 5 minutes, you're probably looking at Coventry's tails are up. We're sinking, going, oh, fuck, here we go. Derby again, Stoke again, Cardiff again. And we probably sink. So he kept us in it, and it's an absolutely cracking save, sticking his leg out. And it just goes behind Mason Clark. And that's the turning point, really. It kind of goes from there. It was a weird first half because it was hard to make what happened, because it was so like kind of basketball-y, really. It kind of kept going end to end, and then we managed to get that goal back. And after that goal from Lang, which again, good strength from Bishop coming. Obviously, it went, keepers punched it out down the other side. Good strength from. I thought the ref, the way he was going, I thought he was going to give it as a free kick, but he didn't. He let him carry on, and it wasn't exactly a clean strike from Lang. Kind of bobbled along the floor, and it's poor keeping. The keeper should be saving that. But
it was awful from the goalkeeper.
You absolutely take it. You absolutely take it, and that enabled us to kind of push on. And I thought, sorry, I'm just reading. So I've caught myself off my notes. I thought, apart from the fact that Towler, that first their goal, I thought actually Towler came in and was a vast improvement on McIntyre, and he looked pretty well suited with Pack. It looked like they played quite a few games together. It kind of took them a bit of time to settle, but then again, it took the whole team time to settle. But once you got that, from 10 to 20 minutes, we just completely dominated, and they did look dangerous on the counter-attack, Coventry, I have to say.
They took everything quick, didn't they? I noticed that every free kick was taken.
I think because they were trying to rush us, because you had Mason Clark on one side and I want to say Sakamoto. I think it was. Was that?
Right. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And they were both quite pacey, and obviously you've got Bassett up front is a bit kind of a big guy, so it's kind of get the wing play, get it down the wings, and hope that Bassett kind of makes it into the box by the time they've got there. It kind of felt like they heavily relied on the wing play, and once we managed to kind of nullify that, because once Mason Clark did Swanson, I think he only got past him a couple more times, and he kind of kept him quiet, and it was shown by the fact that Lampard brought him off.
Well, I thought Swanson, the first 10 minutes, he was all over the place.
I think the whole team was, though. It kind of, like, Swanson's kind of responsible for the Mason Clark and Towler for Bassett, but I think the whole team were just like didn't really know what was going on. They were like rabbit in headlights, and eventually we kind of settled down. And once they scored, and then once they that save from Schmid, it kind of went, right, here we go, we can get back into this. So it was a good first half, and obviously that second, the kind of Coventry kind of assisted us in both goals, really, because obviously Collins decided just to let it bounce under his arm. And then for the second goal, it was their left back headed it up in the air and allowed Lang the time to. That was an unbelievable strike from Lang.
I think it was interesting that Moutinho swapped Murphy and Lang, Murphy and Ritchie are over on the wings. Do you think that was because of the left back? Because he looked awful all game.
I think so. I think he probably decided. You think of Ogilvy, of how much pace Ogilvy's come up against this year, the likes of Dan James and Borja Sainz and stuff like that. He's had quite tricky right wingers, and I think the left back was a bit nervy, and he probably thought, well, the pace of Murphy would probably make a better impact than, say, the technique of Ritchie, which I think actually it showed that actually did work. So, and obviously they stayed the same for yesterday as well. It was less effective, but sorry, I was just watching the Brighton-Brentford game. Sorry. Sorry, Damsgaard just went on a mad 50-yard run and just did about 6 Brighton players. It was pretty impressive. I thought it was interesting to watch because they started on their correct sides, Murphy on the left and Ritchie on the right, and then he swapped it after I think after the goal or after the 1-on-1, and after that it was just all Pompey really. From the end of that, from their first 10 minutes, we were just on top probably, but it was a very impressive first half.
Yeah, no doubt about that. It's probably it was a really I thought it was a really entertaining first half between both teams, and then going in at half time, we just sort of felt, we've had a history of conceding early. Don't do it. Let's just be strong for the first 10 minutes, and then Daz, they just didn't come out with Coventry at all, did they? They were useless, spineless. Like, I'm using words from Coventry fans that I've been watching on their vlogs of just how awful they were in the second half, and then that allowed us just to take the piss out of them, really.
Yeah, it's that old saying, isn't it? When especially at half time when it's like 2-1, like the saying is the next goal is going to be massive for that game, and it was. Like, I felt that I was quite surprised how well we came out in the second half. I mean, it helps having someone like Lang on the pitch who can just sort of get something out of nothing. But yeah, I think if Coventry might have nicked a goal earlier in the second half, you might have seen a different Coventry, I think, because as Harry was saying, like, it was end to end the first half. I really enjoyed the first half. I enjoyed the second half as well, but obviously different reasons. The fact that we like pretty much dominated it and it felt safe. But yeah, it's a prime example of getting the next goal and how important that is. It was important that we got it because, especially after Derby, and how well we recovered from that first 10 minutes of the game, the Coventry game. But yeah, Lang is just like, there's not enough words for Lang, is there? He's I can remember, like, when I've watched England and I've seen Bellingham play for England, I think myself how lucky I am to be able to watch a player like Bellingham play for England. That's how I feel about Lang now. Like, I'm not comparing him to Bellingham, but I'm just saying the impact I feel he has. He doesn't stop running. He's hungry. Like, whenever he gets a chance, I find that he sort of shoots on the cuff. So it's very like sort of that first goal, for example, is because the way he's taken it quite early. I don't think the keeper's expecting him to shoot from there. Same with his second goal. I know he got a bit fortunate, but for him to put his body the way he did and then just wrap his foot on it. The header, I didn't expect him to pop up with a header there. And then to follow up Bishop's effort, which was unlucky. Bishop probably deserved the goal, to be honest. I thought he was pretty mustard on Saturday as well. And Lang is just that like lad that just pops up everywhere. I hate to play against him because I've been a defender, so it's like I don't mind playing against a big lump, be able to have a little fight, grab holds, that sort of stuff, elbows out. But it's those little bastards that just run rings around you. I absolutely used to hate.
It's because he's quite nimble, isn't he? So he's kind of in one place at one point, and then you kind of think, oh, he's in front of me or he's behind me, and within a second, he's 10 yards further away from you, and they've lost their man, and that's
he just reads the game so well.
He does.
He reads the game so well. I know, obviously, was it De Silva there back who misjudged the header?
Yeah.
But I don't think that's luck that Lang did that. Lang is that type of player that will gamble, that will think like, I'll just take a couple of steps. You never know, this one might fall to me. Same with obviously his fourth goal. He's pretty much the only one ready to go, and the Coventry defender will probably be like kicking himself as well as the keeper. I mean, it's a great first save from Bishop's effort. Like the reactions from him where he scoops it back out afterwards, which obviously then allows Lang to smash it in. I'm guessing he was just off balance, and that's all he could do, because there's no other reason why he's just scooping it back out that way, and he's not sort of just slapping it out.
That is sorry to interrupt. That
God.
was one of the most horrendous bit of goalkeeping I have ever seen in my life.
But the bit before where Bishop save was one of the best saves I've seen in a while.
Oh, unbelievable!
I think he's quite unlucky that it didn't go up over the bar.
Oh yeah,
but then what preceded that was horrendous, as you say.
That you are taught. I've probably said before. I used to play in goal, used to goalie training, everything like that. The first thing you're taught is you never push it back out to the middle of the goal. If you've got to claw it away. If you can't, I don't see why you can't just catch it. Personally,
I think he's lost it. He's lost it, hasn't he? Like, I think he's panicked, and when he's gone back, he's tried to look up. I think he's just missed the ball. He doesn't know where it is until it drops down right into his face.
Yeah, I think he probably thinks. I think he probably thinks, because he doesn't get up straight away. I think he probably thinks it's going over the bar.
Yeah,
and then he probably goes, "Oh shit, it's not. I need to get up." And by the time he's realised and got up and got back, the only thing he can do is paw at it. And as Dad said, that Lang, the two Coventry centre halves are just stood watching. And Lang is the only person in the whole frame of the video. Everyone else is stood still. Lang is the only one that drifts anywhere near and goes, "That's not gone over. I'm going to gamble," and everyone else stands still.
But I get, all the other. He shouldn't be. You never. That's like the raw goalkeeper. Never ever push it back in the middle of the goal. You always push it away. If you push it away and someone's there, fair enough. You've done your job. That should just be an instinct. You shouldn't even have to think that. And he was all for all game. I thought probably other than the second goal, you could blame him for all three goals. Or put a blame on him for all three goals.
I don't
even
think
the header.
I don't
know why you come out. I don't know. Huh?
I don't think the corner you can you?
Yeah, he should be coming out for that. That's not his. That's not a goalie's ball.
Did he come? I can't remember. Did he come out?
He come out to try and punch it. Yeah,
and when he did come out, he was pretty weak, wasn't he?
He was way too late.
Yeah,
it might have still gone in. It might have still gone in, but he shouldn't be coming out for that. And if you get a chance to watch any commentary vlogs from the game, like a 4-0 written all over it, there's a moment after the fourth goal where Collins looks back at the Coventry fans, and they're all literally abusing him, and they're all saying, "Why is he looking at us? You fucked up. Why are you looking at us?"
Yeah.
It was horrendous goalkeeping. Don't get me wrong, horrendous defending. Because I kept texting.
You can't have. Sorry, Russ. I was going to say you can't have someone having a free header in the 6-yard box.
No,
that is absolutely criminal for Coventry's point of view. I don't know who was marking him, but they weren't. And it was literally centre of the goal in the 6-yard box to allow someone that can bloody high jump a horse, because Lang's got a bloody good jump on him, to allow that amount. He had no one near him. He had 3-4 yard radius around him of space. That's criminal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So the first goal, no one closed Lang down. He still should have stayed there. The goal under here is always horrendous. It always used to give me a sick feeling whenever the ball went under me. The third goal, he shouldn't have come out, but then, how has Lang got that free room? And again, the fourth goal, he made a decent, really good first save. And then, what was he doing with the rebound? So, yeah, it was an interesting performance from the goalkeeper, I thought.
Yeah, I saw some Coventry, and fair play to the Coventry fans. I mean, at 4-1, the majority of them were still there. So I'm not slating them in any way or things like that. But I did see that some of them obviously were saying pretty much like they're 4 poor goals, which, if you're looking from a Coventry City standpoint, then if Pompey gave away those goals, I'll be pretty pissed off about them. But I don't think it's luck that Lang has got those 4 goals. He's put himself in these positions. He's read the game really well, and
they're not lucky. None of them.
No. It's one of those things that when you say, that team played badly, but but then you can look at it as well. We made them play badly. Do you know what I mean? It's not the fact that they were just shit. It's the fact that we forced them into being shit by the way we played. And that's the same thing with Lang. I think he forces players into making mistakes and being worried about him because of the type of player he is. He'll always be running. I mean, we've seen in previous games, he's running around like a sit in a trance, in the 90th minute, just keeps going and going and going. Makes me feel dizzy, to be honest. It makes me feel out of breath. So um, yeah, it's probably. I think we said it on the WhatsApp group. It's probably the most perfect 90 minutes I think we've had so far this season, barring obviously the first 10 minutes. But I mean, you're never going to be perfect for the full 90 minutes. But I think that's probably the most complete performance from us.
Yeah, and touching on your, about people can't say Lang was lucky. In my opinion, awful. The first shot, yeah, right, goal, you should have saved it, but if you don't hit it, you don't buy a ticket, you don't win the lottery, do you? Second goal, I thought he anticipated that. He knew that the defender got it wrong, got his body in the right place, got in front of him, out-muscled him, and then bang, what a goal. Third goal, I don't know how no one can say that was lucky. That was just a great header. It's their fault for not defending him. And then the fourth goal, as Harry said, not one defender. We could point the blame at Collins, but all the defenders just stood there and let him tap it in. So
yeah,
it was an outstanding performance by Lang. But there was a few outstanding performances. Obviously, Harry spoke about Schmidt's save, which I put a tweet up saying, and I agree. He doesn't save. It was kind of like a sliding doors moment, really, wasn't it?
yeah.
If he ain't saved that, then it would have been a completely different game, which is typical typical football sort of answer in it. But another player I thought had an outstanding game was my boy Dazelle. I think he's really starting to show everyone actually how good he is now. Any other players that sort of stood out for you? I thought Ogilvy's cross for the fourth goal was really good.
He needs to cross more, doesn't he? If he's
Yeah.
putting balls in like that, then I know he's more of a defensive fullback, isn't he, rather than an attacking one. But
I find he's better going forward, though. I don't mind him wandering off forward.
as long as you've got the cover behind him, so like Dazelle or Potts or whoever's in the midfield just kind of covers that half space between the midfield and the fullback role. As long as that's covered in case the winger decides to not go with him, then there's no issue with him going forward as long as he picks his moment. Because obviously you don't want him to go forward every time.
Potts off the ball, which I know you could talk about the Watford foul in a minute, but his overall off the ball has improved, which is my biggest criticism of him. I was, everyone was like, "Oh, Pot, what a great player," but I just kept seeing this midfielder that sort of didn't know how to tackle. Well, I looked at it, didn't even know how to shrug a man off the ball. But I thought he had a really good game. Anyone else stand out for you guys?
I thought Richie was good again.
He really led that team, didn't he?
Yeah, but I love him screaming. I mean, we'll get onto the Watford game as well. But obviously, I could hear him on the TV, him screaming, I was telling, obviously pushing players up and stuff like that. Just what I did quite like from the first half. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but obviously Matt Ritchie, obviously very vocal, screaming at people, getting them doing this, that, and the other. And when their keeper had it and he threw it out to the number 7, the is he Japanese lad? I can't remember what his name is now. And it caught Matt Ritchie out. He was between two minds of pressing and going more towards the ball, and then he left Matey off behind him. The keeper threw it out, and then obviously they had a break on, and it was quite funny to see Marlon Pack having a massive go at Matt Ritchie, which is kind of a thing you want, like the standards. Obviously, Matt Ritchie is trying to set standards, and then when he's let his slip, Marlon Pack's been there to pick him up on it, which I think is I love that because I'm not saying that Matt Ritchie should have got stick and that call him an arsehole or anything, but it's good that we've got a good couple of players that have those standards. Yeah, I thought it was quite funny. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Yeah, I saw. He obviously did get caught out. I think he was kind of in two minds of what to do because you saw him kind of hesitate before he decided to go, and then he realised as the ball went over his head, he was like, "Oh fuck, shouldn't have done that." But he actually did pretty decent to get back in the end. He managed to get back and kind of hold up Sakamoto until the other players had got back, and by that point we ended up with a throw-in on the other side of the pitch. So although he made a mistake, he actually got back and did well to rectify it, I thought.
Yeah, no, it was.
It was kind of like an
you spoke about,
all-round, wasn't it? There was a couple of standout players, obviously Lang and players like that got most of the plaudits, but it was kind of after that first 10 minutes, it was, and it's kind of been how it's been. There's been a couple of standout moments when we've played well. There's been a couple of standout moments from a few individual players, but when we've played well, it's more of a collective. There's not been obviously Lang scores 4, so he gets man of the match. But a majority of the time, think of QPR, Bristol City. They've been team performances. It's been when the whole team has turned up. Either the whole team turn up in those games, or we shit the bed like we did at Derby, Stoke, and Cardiff.
Well, that's because we've players are the majority of the players are now starting to adapt to Championship football. Like it was always going to be a bit of a struggle to start with, not just because of the teams we played against, but we haven't got a Championship like players that have played in the Championship squad like that. We've got a few players that have been there and done it, but we haven't got enough. And so it was always going to take a little while for the rest of the group to catch up. Well, obviously, someone like Lang hit the ground running. You had a few others that were fine, but now I think the majority of the players in the squad now have not. They're not. It's not that they've caught up and now they're top end Championship players and stuff like that. But they've got to a standard where we can get through games, we can find a way to win, and I think that is why we're now seeing more players like playing better. Look at Ogilvy, Richie because of his fitness, stuff like that. Josh Murphy is now sort of starting to get better and better, and I don't think that's like any coincidence that we're now pretty much halfway through the season.
Yeah, I also wanted to bring. Harry kind of brought up about Towler. So I got, after our discussion on the last podcast about, did McIntyre, does he need a bit of time and things like that? With Towler coming straight in, put on a really good performance, and I believe he had another good game yesterday as well. Is it fair to say now that McIntyre should be one that we'd be looking to get rid of over Towler?
Yeah, I think. Sorry, Daz. I was just going to say. I know. Me and Daz kind of agreed on this. The fact that yes, his performances kind of weren't good enough, but he probably did deserve a little bit more of a chance. But I spoke to Jeff Harris before the game. I saw him in the fan zone, and he was like, "You're sticking up for him," and he's shit. And I was like, "No, he deserves a chance. Look, give him a chance." And then he messaged me after the game. He was like, "Right, what do you say now?" And I was like, "Yeah, all right, fair enough." But
and that was my point. Where sometimes when a player is on the pitch, it just disjoints everything, and I feel like McIntyre is that player.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though, that obviously when Bissett was through 1-on-1 and Schmidt made that great save, that came from Towler being caught out. Like Towler was under the ball. The ball, obviously, the ball got played through. He totally lost his man, and he would have lost his man for a second time if they had scored. And I think if they had gone 2-0, not just the fact that I don't think we would have come back and got anything out of the game, because I think Coventry might have got better and better, but you might have seen Towler like nosedive performance-wise. I'm glad he didn't, because I love the bloke. I love Towler. He seems like a proper nice bloke. And I'm glad that didn't happen because I want us to win every game, and I don't care who's playing at the back as long as we can win games for them playing. That's fine. But it would have been interesting. But if they had scored that second, and then again Towler losing his man, it would have been sort of a sticky situation for Towler. But I'm glad it's not, because we don't want two players with low confidence and then you're not comfortable putting either in. You don't want to be in that situation.
Yeah, to be fair to Towler, which, he was the same with Swanson, sort of, I think they all were just taken by surprise, which Harry said, by the way they started.
Yeah, definitely,
But yeah, I just think McIntyre's style of play just doesn't suit us. He just, I can't explain it. We don't look right when he's in the team. And I think now maybe Towler is again sort of saved his career at Pompey for the moment, and McIntyre is probably now the one looking to be the one shipped on. So anything else anyone wants to say about Coventry before we move on to yesterday?
Two quick things.
Yep.
One was Foot Mob only gave Callum Lang a 9.9. Like, what more do you want him to do for that extra 0.1 of a score?
He didn't assist any, did he? Greedy.
No, that's it. That's what they saw. That no assist, and thought they've got like greedy bastard, 0.1 off.
Yeah.
The other thing was because the substitutes warm up right in front of me, and a couple of guys in front of me were giving Jake Boswell, the number 21 for Coventry. They were giving him some stick, and he was having a good laugh, to be fair. And when Lang was given man of the match, he came over to them and went, "How's he got man of the match? He only scored 4." And I thought, yeah, that's fair enough. Like, you can clearly see like they've got tonked, and it's good that you can, like, a player can still have a laugh even though he's watching his team just kind of go to shit. Really, I thought it was quite funny.
Yeah, and the thing is, when fans are so close to the pitch like ours are, you kind of just want to, like, you kind of take away any more abuse by just kind of going along with it. Because if you start fighting, you're just going to get it worse. So sometimes it's best just to go along with it, isn't it?
A bit like yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, good segue into
yes, Daz. Well done. What a segue, Daz.
That was on purpose.
So ongoing. So Harry did the first half of the last game. Daz, you could do the first half on yesterday. I ain't got much to say about it, so I will leave it mostly to you two. But I obviously got my opinions on sort of everything else. How did the first half go? Obviously 1-0 up. Was it deserved? How did we play? Talk to me like I have no idea what's going on.
Personally, I thought as away performances go, that first half was pretty much up there with a perfect away performance. We obviously looked a little bit shaky in the first couple of minutes. I think it was a couple of minutes when Jefferson threw on Marlon Pat, got around him and was 1-on-1 with Schmidt. And I thought Swanson did quite well to sort of catch up with him. So it meant that Jefferson didn't feel like he had enough time to maybe take it around Schmidt or place it better. And he kind of hit it straight at Schmidt. When I first saw it, I thought, oh, that's a great save. You see the angle from behind Jefferson, and he's pretty much just hit it straight at Schmidt. But fair play to Schmidt. He stood his ground, stayed big, and that a combination of Swanson like sort of putting on some pressure as well as Schmidt like remaining big, probably was the reason why Jefferson didn't get a great contact on it. I don't think Jefferson has particularly done great so far this season. I think he's on loan from Sheffield United, isn't he? I think he's done a lot of running, but I think he hasn't sort of scored many. But yeah, after that, I think we started to really grow into the game. Watford were always going to be pretty good on the ball and coming forward, but I felt that we dealt with them pretty well. I think everything that Watford had, they had to go around us. We were nice and compact. I think obviously we set up like sort of two banks of four, it looked like, when we didn't have the ball. And it was, even though sort of it was quite defensive, I felt that like sort of we were never really in any bother. And then so when we got our goal, great finish from Swanson. Ball in by Josh Murphy, I believe. I think their defender's going to be quite pissed off with how he cleared the ball, because it sort of just like popped up. And Swanson, great take, kind of like a half volley, got his foot over it into the corner. It was a great finish. And I feel after that, again, I mean, I saw the stats at half time with like the possession. I think they had like 70 odd percent. But to be honest, with that amount of possession, I don't think they did a great deal. I don't think they really troubled us or troubled Schmidt after that 1-on-1. As I said, we were nice and compact, sent them round the outsides, it forced them into sort of just crosses and things like that. And to be honest, I felt that Ogilvie and Swanson really applied enough pressure to make sure that there was no decent crossing. Um, I think they only had one flash point where the ball looked like it touched the crossbar as that bar wanker pinged it in. But yeah, I thought when the halftime whistle went, I was more than happy. I thought we looked good. I thought defensively looked really sound. Going forward, we still look dangerous. Callum Lang could have maybe nicked another one for half time as well. But I thought again the defender did pretty well. And also I think there was another opportunity actually, which great ball in from Josh Murphy from the right hand side. And again, defender did really well to stop Lang. It basically would have been a tap in for Lang, especially sort of form he's in at the moment as well. But yeah, I thought first half was pretty much spot on. Did not expect the second half to go the way it did. But I guess I'll leave that up to Harry.
Well, I sort of, obviously keep an eye on the score, keep an eye on everything. Sort of 1-0, looked at the stats, as you say, and thought, everything looks all right. Sort of had a little quick look on Twitter. There was no real panic coming, But then as the second half went on, all of a sudden I started noticing when I looked at the stats, we had a shot. Did we completely sit behind? Is that a fair assumption for somebody who didn't watch the game? Did we sit behind the ball maybe too much and brought on ourselves? Or was it just down to an absolutely horrendous penalty that wasn't a penalty, a reason? Was the goal coming anyway, or did that come out of the blue?
I think it's kind of a bit of a mixture, really, because if you look at the way we played away from home, we've kind of got two different systems. One is at home, where we go at teams, we take them on, we go in with a high press, and that's been really successful at home. But then away from home, especially at teams that are more established at like Watford and places like that, you're not going to go there and do a high press the whole game because you will get fucked. So we go there and we do sit there with 10 behind the ball. And again, we only had one shot on target the whole game, which was Swanson's, but that's fine because it was actually a productive way of playing. And it was a successful way of playing until the ref didn't even give it. It was the linesman decided that they deserved a penalty. And Potts shouldn't have gone in for the challenge. It was stupid by Potts. However, it is a good yard outside of the box, and it's bizarre from the officials as a whole. The ref I think he gave a goal kick or a corner, so he didn't even give a foul. He didn't give a free kick or a penalty, which it was definitely a free kick to Watford because it was a silly foul. But then he's gone over to the lino. The lino has then told him, "Oh, you've got that wrong. It's a penalty." But it's not. It's honestly some of the most horrendous officiating I've ever seen. It is how you can not know whether whether it's on the line, or you should be able to tell from being a linesman whether a foul is in or outside the box. Just because he falls over in the box, it doesn't mean it's a foul. The foul comes from the initial contact, which was about a yard outside of the box. I can't explain it. It's just dumb. He's dumb. clueless at this occasion. He doesn't understand football. I don't know. It baffles me. I'm lost for words. How you can give it. And I know we don't want VAR in the Championship, but this is probably the one occasion where you go, why don't we have VAR? I'm not pining for that. But obviously, if it was in the Premier League and that was given, obviously it would be turned over. But
I was just going to say, obviously, I saw someone talking online. Obviously, they must have been like an official or something like that. But he said that the linesman can't give a penalty. He's probably just gone over to the linesman to sort of ask if it's a foul or not. And the referees made the decision that it's a penalty. And
he said they can go like what's his name, Gary or something. Oh, Gaz, you've missed that. That's a foul. And he's gone over to talk to him, and he's gone, I think you missed it. It should have been a penalty. And then the ref's going to go, okay, I missed that. You've seen it. He goes, you sure, mate? And he goes, yeah. And then he goes and gives the penalty. Obviously, the lino's giving him the information, and he's given the penalty by the information he's been given by the linesman.
Yeah, that ref as well. He gave a penalty, I think, against West Brom or for West Brom at the Hawthorns.
It was against Rotherham, wasn't it, for the handball outside the box?
So that ref has got fucking previous. He's not fit enough, and I said this. I tweeted yesterday. If his belly is hanging over his waistline, he ain't fit enough, and you could see in his face he was fucked. Like whenever he was trying to get around the pitch, he was fucked. Like
he was behind play pretty much the whole match.
That is up there. Like because what was it? Like when we played Coventry in the first half, my other half she was like, "Oh, the referee's bad." I was like, "Yeah, but to be honest, he's being bad for both teams, so it just evens itself up. That's fine." In the first half against Watford, he was being equally bad for both teams. I could accept it, but that second half performance from him was horrendous.
I'd actually say the first half as well, because Quado Bar should have been sent off for that challenge on Richie, because he was a good second late. He had 2 feet off the ground. It was reckless and endangered the opponent, which it did, because Richie ended up going off injured in the second half. So he got that wrong, and I don't really understand how he couldn't have seen, or the fourth official, or again another linesman hasn't seen the fact that it is a reckless challenge.
Yeah. The thing is, if that ref, like he can't be 100% sure that's in the box, like, because it wasn't, obviously. So if the referee, there's two things: either the referee just guessed and thought, "Oh, I'll give a penalty. I think it's a penalty." That's bad. But the other one would be worse if he thinks it's definitely in the box, because that shows that he's ridiculously incompetent. And I like, obviously when you're watching the game and stuff like that on TV, and like you see how bad a referee is, you do get frustrated. You think, oh, is he has the ref been that bad, or is it just because of my bias because he's giving stuff against Pompey? I was watching the game with my other half's dad, and he's a Saints fan, and he was getting pissed off.
Sorry,
yeah.
What?
So my other half,
sat in the same room as him?
Well, yeah, like he's my other half's dad.
Daz, what are you doing? Daz, come on.
My dad's a Saints fan, so I have to sit in the same room with him. But this shows you how bad the ref was. He was getting pissed off with the ref for decisions he was giving against Pompey. So that's like, that's.
Well, I think it's worse that you're calling him a Saints fan, to be quite honest.
What's that?
I mean, you can, if the ref's shit for everyone, like he was against Coventry.
Yeah.
As you said, you go, look, the ref's shit, but he's got it right on both. Like, he's equally shit. But it was quite obvious. I honestly don't even know what he was doing. But the ref hasn't given the penalty. It was the linesman that has advised that it is a penalty.
Yeah.
It has to be. Because the ref didn't give anything. He didn't even give it as a free kick or a foul. He just left play and gave the goal kick or the corner. I can't remember which one. So he's not seen an issue with that. And that's why he's gone over to the lino, because the lino's gone, mate, you missed that. That's a penalty.
I personally think they both just sort of, and it would be interesting if we could hear the audio and what they've said to each other. Because
we would never be privy to that kind of thing.
But
I
I think I brought this up before, where I think they should. I think things like that. I'm not saying all the time. They should be coming out saying why they came to that decision, because
absolutely.
it like I see it. So I knew about it because obviously you mentioned it in the chat. It come on Sky Sports News. They were saying it, like how ridiculous it is that a penalty's being given. And you then see it. You didn't even need to, like, people were sending me screenshots, and I don't need a screenshot. It's not even close. It's not even like, you could see it. It was nowhere near. What side was the lino? Was it his side?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, then that's even shitter.
Yeah.
That's even shitter. If it was the other side of the pitch, I could kind of understand. Because it is quite hard to see where the other line is the other side. But to be on his side, that's awful.
I really hope that they are both binned off for the next round.
They'll be in the Premier League on the weekend, mate.
They have to be demoted or binned off for the weekend.
Yeah. Well, it's that
for this weekend.
I listened to the Hard Truth podcast, and Darren McCanty says that, like, it's the way they get punished is that these referees get dropped down a couple of leagues or down a league.
Yeah, so he'll go to League 2 or something.
Yeah, he's like, oh, cheers. So we get a ref that's been bad, and now he's just going to be bad for us.
Yeah, because when the Premier League have a shit ref, the Championship get it, and it's not.
That Potts foul, because it was a foul, 110%. That is a foul that a player makes right on the edge of the box because he knows he's beaten, so he just does it. He knows he's going to get a yellow. Like, there's no way in a million years Potts makes that tackle inside the box like that.
No, he doesn't
do it. That's a tackle that is. I'm gonna take one for the team here. Get a foul outside the box.
But that's why he does it where he does.
Yeah, and that is, again, a referee that doesn't know how to play the game, because he's just thinking like, oh, he's just mistimed it or something like that probably. But I personally think the ref and the lino totally lost control of that part.
Oh, the ref had no control of that game whatsoever, because as soon as that penalty, especially when that penalty went in, obviously it's our ball, we can do what we like with it. Obviously they started like pushing Schmid in the goal. The ref had no control of it. Obviously Schmid got booked. Pack got booked for protesting. Messino got booked.
6 on there. 6 yellows.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. One of these Watford players should have got sent off. I don't know if you guys spotted it, but he's basically just I don't know if it's an open hand.
He caught Lang in the face twice.
Yeah, so that's a red, and the referee was looking at it. But again, he's probably just bottled that because he's gone all over the place.
He knows that the home team are going to get on top of him.
Yeah, and to be honest, again, like, because that penalty was never given, you never know what happens in the game. But I was actually quite comfortable, even when, like, because again, they were getting forward at us, but they weren't getting in any positions where I felt, I think Watford might score in a minute. I felt we were quite comfortable defensively.
Yeah, they had a lot of the ball, but we didn't allow them to do much with it.
No. So I think that penalty is just, and I said before we went on live on here that I weirdly, like, even though I was fuming with the ref, I felt because Pompey, as in the players, played quite well, it's not like I'm sort of annoyed about the players. I'm thinking, well, in the next game, I'm comfortable with the players. Again, it's not their fault that's happened.
I think the only thing you could probably do it is switching off in the last few seconds, kind of like we did at Leeds and what we did against Burnley.
That goal was a bit jammy though, wasn't it?
Oh, like, yeah, absolutely. But we were just, I think we were tired. But again, it kind of all links in. Again, we were tired, but Messino doesn't want to make the subs because he's not happy with he clearly doesn't feel the people that are there aren't good enough, apart from the people he brings on, like Moxon and Lane. I thought Lane had a poor game. I thought that that was
one of my questions.
When Richie went off, we lost a hell of a lot of intensity.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people saying, like, that's it now with Lane. Like, he has to either go out on loan.
He needs a loan. I don't think you sell him because he's the natural step up. The next step up was to play in the Championship. He got 19 goals and assists last year in League One. You can't really do much more in League One. apart from stepping up and having a go in the Championship. It hasn't quite worked out so far, but I think you'd give him a loan, 6 months, let him play regular football, and then you bring him back in pre-season, and you probably go from there and think, right, is he going to give us? Is he going to be ready? Or then you probably sell, because don't forget he's still only 22, so he's got good sell-on value. He's still got a couple of years on his contract, and he's got enough room to develop. But he's another young player who needs game time, and right now he's not getting that. But
we seriously need a winger, don't we?
Yes, that's why you need to get rid of the likes of Blair, Silvera, Lane. Well, Silvera can just fuck off, really. But the other two, they need a loan to get minutes to help develop their footballing ability and their football brain, because then they could come back and be ready for next season, whatever league we're in. They might have torn up League One, and then you're ready for League One football again next year if we do go down, or they might be ready. Okay, you think actually they're ready for Championship football now, but them sitting there not really getting the minutes, and Lang coming on for 20 minutes every game does not benefit him. You'll end up as I kind of feel like a broken record, because every one I say, you could see what teams Messino trusts, because it's the same 11 pretty much every week, but the quality from the starting 11 to the bench and reserves is so vast that he doesn't want to play them, because he knows that they're too shit, and that he can't trust them to do a job. But you're going to end up burning out the players that start. So that's why, as we've discussed before, you need to be bringing in 3 or 4 Championship level experienced players in January, just so other players can go out on loan. But Rich going off did definitely make a difference, and we did lose a hell of a lot of intensity and experience as well. But as Daz said, I thought the actual performance from the players was something to be proud of. And again, they showed heart, they showed grit, they showed determination, they fought for the shirt, they did the hard work. Like sitting back and allowing a team to have 72% possession overall is not just like, oh, we were time wasting and it's negative football. Sometimes you've got to do it. Look at what's like Big Sam and teams like that. David Moyes was a bit like, it's considered negative football, but it's sometimes an effective way to do it. As long as you take your chances at the other end, which we did. You don't obviously get helped by poor officiating, but there's nothing wrong with playing that, and we don't play like that all the time. Last season, because we were one of the better teams, we didn't play like it at all, and at home we play different.
Yeah, I'm so glad that Messino has adapted. I mean, if you look at them lot down the road, they had a manager that steps up into a higher division and hasn't adapted, and he's lost his job because of it. Like, there's no point us going toe to toe, especially away from home, with teams like Watford, Leeds, Burnley. We have to play a different way, because whether we like it or not, like, I mean, what Sissoko set up he got Spawney for their goal yesterday. Like, he played in the Premier League for the majority of his career. So we're up against these players. There's no point in going toe to toe and try and play their expansive football like they do, because you're just going to get picked off. And I think the way we're doing it now is absolutely spot on. It's not like we just sit back and then go long and stuff like that. We still play out from the back when we can, but we go forward as quick as possible. And we had to do that with the likes of Murphy and Lang up top, like with their pace and their energy. Like, we need to get the ball forward quickly. Otherwise, there's no point in having like a player like Murphy who's like lightning. But yeah, I like the fact that Messino's adapted. We're not playing ridiculously like high possession, sexy football, people might want to call it, but we are playing football that is nice to watch.
It's effective.
Yeah,
that's what it is, and that's what right now we haven't got the standard and caliber of players, and they'll probably happily to admit that, to be able to go and play this lovely, sexy football that we played last year. We've got lower caliber players compared to what other teams have, so we're not going to be able to match them. And if you told us going into Christmas or going into the new year that after 21 games, which is effectively half the season, that we were outside the relegation zone on 20 points with 2 games in hand, we'd have all gone, absolutely. You couldn't have probably asked for much more. Obviously, sometimes some of the performances we put in haven't been good enough, but we have to just accept that we aren't going to be consistent.
No, I think I said that we're going to have games like the result against Derby. We're going to have more of those for the rest of the season.
But we're also going to have games like Coventry and Bristol City.
Exactly. And I will take getting beaten every now and again 4-1, 5-1, 5-2, whatever. I will take that if it means we stay up, because we're going to have to just pick up as many points as possible. And obviously yesterday we deserved at least a point. And if we'd have picked up a point, even if I would have been really annoyed, because I think we would have been unlucky if that penalty decision was the one that made it a draw. You would have looked back at the past week going into Bristol City and thinking 4 points out of those 2 games, we can go into Bristol City being confident. And I would like to think the players still feel confident, because we've got done over by the referee, and that's had nothing to do with our performance. So I hope the players still maintain some kind of positive attitude going into Bristol City. But yeah, I like what we are now, and I have sort of made peace with the fact that we're going to get stuffed a couple more times this season. But as long as we stay up, I don't care.
Well, I had us 1 point out of these last 2 games. I had a draw Coventry, a loss with Watford, so I'm not too upset about it. I think it helps I didn't watch it, so I'm not. I think if I watched it, I'd probably feel a bit different. And I said a 2-1 loss to Watford isn't the worst result in the world.
It's just it's just the manner that it happened that's frustrating.
Yeah. To be that close to even getting a point up there would have been, terrific. Football is always about context. If you said we lose 2-1 to Watford, which I said a week ago in my prediction, and I said that it's not a bad result, against a team that's unbeaten at home, they're looking to get into the playoffs, away to Watford 2-1, we get a goal, make a game of it, you'll take that. But to lose to last kick of the game or near enough, and a penalty, there wasn't a penalty. You then go in, actually, that's just we didn't deserve it. But I'm not too disappointed, and like you say, Daz, it's gonna, we're gonna get thumped here and there, and we're also gonna have good games, as Harry said. My always thing is turn up, even if you get lost 4-1, 3-1, whatever, just turn up, and the boys are back here, and that's off. So unless I just realised what the time is, unless there's anything more to say about the Watford game, because we've still got quite a bit to go through. Anything else anyone wants to say about it?
No, I'm fine.
No?
Yeah, it's probably best we don't go right into all the other stuff, because we could be here again for probably another hour.
Right, so before we start looking at predictions, and Harry, where are we in the prediction league table at the moment? Because do I get a bonus point for Lang scoring 4?
No, you absolutely do not.
I knew at the beginning when I said to us about doing this, I thought, should I add an extra point on for a hat trick? Nah, no way is anyone going to get a hat trick.
No, you're not. You got the goal scorer right. You got 1 goal scorer. Okay, it doesn't matter how many goals he's got.
I thought you were gonna Russ. I thought you were gonna go. Surely I get 4 points for that.
No, I'd have been happy just with a bonus point.
No,
just because of that.
We're not having that. So
next season, we're having a bonus point for hat tricks.
Okay, but watch there not be any.
Yep.
So Coventry, Russ got 2 points because he got the goal scorer correct. Myself and Daz got 1 point each because we got the correct outcome. Then Watford, Russ got 3 points. So he's had a good week. He got 5 points because he got the correct scoreline with a 2-1 Watford win. Daz, you got 0, and I also got 1 for the correct outcome of a Watford win. I said 3-1. So the table is as follows. 3rd place is Daz on 11. Second place is myself with 12. And in first place on 13 is Russ.
God, what a turnaround
So
that is.
5 point week has taken you 3 points bottom off second to a point clear at the top.
It's getting tasty, isn't it?
Isn't it?
It is. It is. So, first game then, away to Bristol City on Sunday. I think we're going to get a different Bristol City team. I don't know how you guys feel. I'm just going to quickly start it off. I'd be happy with a draw. A point away from home. We know they're a funny team. We were lucky that they were missing Scott Twine. I don't know if he's back. Do we know?
He is. He scored an absolute worldie the other day. No, so they beat Luton 1-0 at home.
Fair enough. So I'd be happy with a point. And I'm going to predict a point. I'll come back with my scoreline and score in a minute because I'm not sure. But Harry, do you want to take us away?
Yeah, so they've had a kind of obviously we only played them a few weeks ago, so they're still within the last 5 matches of team form. So we've had 2 wins, a draw, 2 losses. They've had 1 win, 2 draws and 2 losses, one of which was against us. Drew against Sunderland away, which is a pretty decent point, but then they drew at home to QPR, which again is probably a poor point. This is probably why they're a mid-table team and don't go any higher or lower than that. They've got a loss away to West Brom as well. They're literally mid-table, as we know. 7 wins, 9 draws, 7 losses. 27 scored, 28 conceded, 30 points. Goal difference of -1. I've gone for a draw. I've gone for 1-1, and I'm going to go for. Let's go Ogilvy. I think we'll probably score from a set piece.
Okay, Des?
As you said, we probably think we're going to see a different Bristol City. It's going to be interesting, obviously us playing each other quite recently and how that game went, is to see how each team sets up. Because obviously away from home, a team like Bristol City like to pass it out from the back. I think, I don't know if this is the case or not, but it seems like the Fratton Park pitch is probably a little bit smaller than the majority of other grounds. So when we play away from home against a team like Bristol City, it'll be interesting to see how more expansive they can be. But yeah, I mean, my head is saying a draw as well, but I'm gonna be positive still. I'm gonna go 2-1 win Pompey, and I feel like Callum Lang is gonna bang another one. It's gonna be. I don't know. I can't really. I'm not really confident either way. I'm not confident that I think again it's one of those games where I can see us losing, drawing, and winning. I can see all those sort of outcomes because of, as you know, Bristol City are sort of the mid-table team. So don't know how much consistency they have this season. But yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 Pompey, Callum Lang.
Well, I believe they're a funny bunch, which we knew beforehand, didn't we, when we played them at home?
Yeah.
Just don't know what you're going to get from them. They're either going to play really well or not. But so I'm going to go 1-1. I think Bishop's going to score. I think he's due a goal. I thought he was unlucky not to get one against Coventry. So unless anything else, we shall move on to Swansea Preview on New Year's Day. I believe they got a win yesterday. Is that right? Did they beat QPR?
Yeah, they beat QPR 3-0. Again, they're kind of in the same points as Bristol City, so they've kind of in the middle because they lost to Sunderland at home 3-2, but then they lost to Hull again 2-1 away. And they beat Plymouth away, drew to Luton. So they're kind of another mid-table team. Again, it's another team that like to have the ball high in possession, play it out from the back. So they're quite fairly similar to Bristol City in a way of they like to build out from the back with that high possession. So again, we're at home. If we can kind of use that high press to our advantage, then I think that will be. I think we're going to come out with a win. We're going to go for a 2-0 win. Feel like we might get a clean sheet. I think if they're there to kind of take, then with the high press that we've been playing, the way we've been playing at home, I think it's another team that will struggle. So I'll go for 2-0 Pompey win with Callum Lang as a goal scorer.
Okay. Daz?
I'm going to go for 1-0 Pompey win. I think, as Harry said, I think our high press at home, I think even though we looked quite good against Swansea in that first half part where we sort of won the ball quite high, I think we've got a better chance at home with a high press. As I said, I think, I just don't know if it's true or not, but it does feel like the Fratton Park pitch is a bit smaller, which allows us to be able to press a little better. But yeah, I'm going Pompey 1-0 win. Let's remain being confident and go into the new year with another 3 points.
All right. Well, I'm going for a win as well. I feel more confident with Swansea than I do Bristol City. 2-1. I'm going for, and I'm going to go Murphy to get a goal.
Daz, who's your goal scorer?
Oh, sorry, Bishop. Corby.
Lovely. Let's see how
Cool.
we get on with them.
Right. So shall we move on to the next segment, which normally would be Hads versus Daz, but for a change, as this is the last one of 2024, we'll do kind of a bit of a review of the year. I gave the boys some questions. I haven't heard any of their answers. They don't know mine. Sort of basically, the first one will be I basically want to know your boys and mine top 5 moments of 2024, excluding the Barnsley game, just because I think that's pretty obvious where that goes. It doesn't really is up there as one of the best moments of my life. So,
are we going to go 5 each, like my 5, then your 5, or are we going to do one each at a time, or what?
No, we'll go one by one, and all say our 5s, then 4s, 3s, and then 2s and 1s. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to go first. My number 5 spot was the Oxford at home game, more for that last minute, that last 10, 15 minutes of just pure Pompey proper atmosphere and the Sadie goal.
Yeah, that was special. I actually I didn't have that in mine. I kind of struggled. I've had kind of 3 that were in mine, and then I kind of struggled. I did kind of forget about that. Kind of went into a blur.
So what's your number 5?
My number 5 was actually being the 23 unbeaten that we went, kind of the back end of the season before, and then into that was the unbeaten run we went after losing to Cheltenham and Leyton Orient. We went unbeaten until we lost to Wigan as well.
Yeah, it's a good shout. Good shout. Daz?
I think for me, it's I actually had Oxford down as well, the home performance. That's for my 5th one. Again, the atmosphere, like in those last 10 minutes to push the players through was pretty decent. Remind me of the AC Milan game and stuff like that. So yeah, that was as I say with another performance last season. I've got written down here that sort of pushed us that last little bit over the finish line. That was a massive game for us. And yeah, the atmosphere was spot on.
Well, what we do is we kind of go like, so Daz, you will go again, and then I go Harry, then me, and then we go keep going back that way. So Harry, you always will be the middle.
Okay.
So Daz, your number 4?
Probably Leeds away. Obviously, I didn't go up to it, but our first game back in the Championship, it couldn't have been a much harder start, could it? But I think the way that game went, it was pretty mental, like roller coaster of emotions from being 1-0 down, thinking, oh, this could be a cricket score, to 2-1 up at half time, buzzing, then just after the break, 2-2, and then in a space of 5 minutes, being absolutely belated that we've made it 3-2. A minute later, being fuming that it's now 3-3, to them being absolutely ecstatic it was a draw when they had that chance right at the end. So, yeah, that's my number 4. Leads away. It was typical Pompey start of the season, wasn't it?
Yeah, fair enough. I don't have that in my top 5. Harry, do you have any top 5?
No, I don't.
And what's your number 4?
My number 4, as I said, after the first 3, I was struggling. So number 4 is O'Neill's.
Yeah, I didn't think of off the pitch. That's a good shout.
It was brilliant. Just being part of it. Obviously, not part of the smashing up. I'm an innocent party. I'm a good member of society.
Yeah.
But
you started it. That's why.
Just being there, the players celebrating, mingling with the fans, kind of being able to kind of let their hair down, and it was amazing, that fact that kind of obviously all season we're together with the players, but you're not, because you aren't allowed to kind of be with them. But being able to celebrate as one, as the club we are, we're a big family, and being able to kind of do that with the fans and the players was pretty special. So yeah, O'Neill's.
No, you know what? I would have put that out there and all if I was out. But unfortunately, that night my missus was at work and I had to look after my boy, so I couldn't have gone out. Annoyingly, my number 4 was very recent. Callum Lang's 4 goals don't come around often. Was it Yakubu was the last one? I've only ever seen 2 in my lifetime. Luckily, they've both been at Fratton Park. 4 goals for Pompey. I mean, not just 4 goals ever. Seen other players do it. So 4 goals for Lang at my number 4. My number 3 was Preston. Just to finally get, I know we got to win away from QPR, but it's not the same when you're not there. That first home win in the Championship, I just remember feeling like a big monkey came off our backs with that result, and we kind of haven't really looked back since, really.
Yeah, that definitely was one that pushed us on and kind of enabled us to go onto this run, didn't it? That we had, that decent run we had, or decent run of performances as well.
Yep. Harry?
My 3rd was Peterborough away. Sat last season, sat in that home, and I sat with my mate who's a Peterborough fan, and it was one of the hardest moments of my life when Young put that ball in, and I literally was sat on my hands, because I knew the whole game, if we had scored, I would have jumped up, and I had to sit there. And I think other guys around me knew that I was a Pompey fan, but they didn't say anything, because I was pretty respectful. I didn't jump up or anything. I kind of made like an inside squeal when we scored, and it was like a high pitched squeal, because I needed to get something out of me. So I feel like for life I'm going to have this one celebration of a goal in me that I will never be able to have, and I'm never going to be able to get rid of it. But yeah, Peterborough away, third place.
Fair enough. Daz, your number 3?
My 3 was actually Peterborough away. Again, it was a game I didn't go to, but watching it at home, it was a roller coaster of emotions. Another one of those games. But for me, the reason it's in the top 5 is that I felt that was the moment that I felt we were definitely going up. To win away at Peterborough, obviously it wasn't the most prettiest of games, but I love our goal, the way we broke on them. Yengi sitting Edwards down and then smashing it in. And then when that final whistle went, I was just like, in my mind, I was like, I think that's it. I think we're up. It's one of those very important wins, especially away from home, because you can win games at home, but away from home at difficult places against a really good Peterborough side. They were really good, and probably one of the teams that probably deserved to come up with us. But yeah, I felt that was so important, and that's why it's in my top 5.
Brilliant. Right. Daz again, number 2.
Number 2 for me is Coventry. Obviously very recent, but to see Callum Lang score 4 in one game, the fact that how we had to react from the Derby game, I just felt the atmosphere was really good. It was a really good laugh. Also, I was sat in the posh seats near Fat Frank, and well, that was quite funny actually. When he was stood there, I went, "Oi, Fatty Frank, sit down." And then I was sat next to this guy with his kid, and we looked at each other and went, "He's actually in really good shape, isn't he? He's actually really good shape. He's not fat at all." But yeah, I enjoyed the atmosphere. I thought it was just seeing Callum Lang score 4 goals. It's something that doesn't tend to happen much down at Pompey. And yeah, I thought it was a complete performance, barring that first 10 minutes. But yeah, and I think Coventry fans made it quite a good game as well. They were quite loud, especially at the start. You can understand why they sort of slowly petered out, but yeah, it was good day all round.
Nice one. Harry, your number 2?
My number 2 is the return of Colby Bishop. So I thought, again, kind of similar to that, being part of that Preston game, that first home win. I think it just seeing him in the squad just gave everyone this almighty buzz and lift before the game. It got everyone up for it. The fans, obviously, the squad, the players would have known that he was involved like the day before, and the build-up, thinking all these scans and everything would have kind of thought, here we are, he's got a chance, and then what they would have known before. So it gave the squad a lift, it gave the players a lift, and it gave us a lift when we knew at 2:00 that he was involved, and the fact that he got to not only come on, it was like just a fairy tale moment. And I think we all had a bit of a tear in our eye at that moment when he stepped up to take that penalty, and there was only one thing happening, and that was Colby Bishop smashing that in the back of the net. Obviously, with a little baby as well, just been born. Obviously, his baby was there and his missus, and I think maybe some other family. It was a wonderful moment, and it's up there with Peterborough, with us winning the league and stuff. And it's one of those moments that will probably stay with everyone that was there, and it will stay with us because it's a magical moment for a bloke with a magic hat.
Fair enough. My number 2 was Peterborough. It's very, very rare I ever have anything where I'm not there to ever make a list. There's only one other thing, and that's Patrick Berger's goal against Charlton. Normally, most things in football, you have to feel it, don't you? You have to be there, you have to feel it. But I wasn't there at Peterborough, but my dad came round and watched it. My son was with me. We went absolutely mental when Yengi scored. And that was the moment where, and I can remember the build-up, we had no chance against Peterborough according to everyone else. This was the moment where we're not even going to get promoted. They're going to beat us, mate, and we're going to start sliding down the table. We had the hardest run in, blah, 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 blah. And I think other than a couple of chances, they didn't really do anything that day. I thought we were a better team. I thought we were a more professional team. I thought Mousinho just outsmarted all of them. And that was the moment where I can remember turning to Dad and said, "That's it, we're up. I know we're up. We ain't throwing this away." And I didn't stop believing from that moment.
Yeah, you're both right. I forgot to kind of say that, but you're both right. That was the turning point of kind of, that was it. If we'd lost that, it would have drawn kind of Derby and Bolton back into it, and it'd have been
and Peterborough themselves.
It would have kind of really gone, oh fuck, here we go. But it was one in a moment, and it was as Dad said, it was a scrappy game, and we just found that one bit of class, and yeah, that was the game. Once that happened, it kind of felt like a weight was kind of off our shoulders because we were so many points clear of the other guys, and there was only a few games to go, and it was like, yeah, we're pretty much there now.
I also think it was the moment where everyone else, other fans, pundits, whatever, went, this Pompey team actually is good.
Yeah.
Because it always was, they're not really that good. They'll get found out.
It was a bit of respect finally put there.
it was finally, they're actually giving us the respect that the players needed. We always were kind of like, oh, you're lucky to be there. You don't deserve to be there. Oh, you'll get found out. Oh, you won't stay there. That's all we had the whole time.
I remember when we lost to Leyton Orient and when we lost 4-0 to Blackpool, we were like found out FC, weren't we? And it was like, oh, for fuck's sake. We just went unbeaten for 23 games. We lost 4-0. We're tired. We'd had enough. We lost one game and we were found out FC. That was funny.
But I think the Blackpool one was the one where actually it was never a 4-0 game. It was only because Morale got sent off. At that point, it looked like we were going to get back in it.
Yeah.
I think the only one where you could hold your hands up and say, yeah, all right, then was the Leyton Orient out of the team.
Oh, yeah, we were just shit. But that was fine because, you just gone. You had a tough run over Christmas. Obviously, I know we lost to Cheltenham away the game before. You always have a little blip, but at Christmas, especially, we normally do. But this little blip literally lasted 2 games. So,
yeah, and so it's very rare I put moments in where I'm not there live, but no, that was where we really stamped our authority, and it's up there as one of my. And watching it literally was like listening to our home game with the crowds.
their fans weren't. After the game, their fans went, "Oh, I can't believe you sold them the whole end and then an extra block in the other one." It's like,
well, even Darren Ferguson wasn't happy with that, and it was a stupid move, in my opinion. I would admit.
I don't think it is. Not from a business point of view. Darren McAntony made the point of, well, would you rather we had less money or more money? You think we're willing to sell out a whole stand and almost a half stand as well? Then if the demand's there, they're not going to sell it out. So surely from a business point of view, it makes sense because you're going to make more money. But
True.
And also that's up to Peterborough fans to actually turn up and make some noise rather than sit there in silence.
Yeah, that's a very good point. All right, my number one is the Bishop return. Harry's touched on it. I don't really need to say much more, but that's up there, probably my top 10 of all time Pompey moments, let alone this year. The emotion from it more than anything, and then to score the penalty was just topped it all off. Also being part of our first win at home, which is why I didn't mention it when we beat Preston, because I separate the two. It's that good. I'd put it I'm talking the AC Milan games, your FA Cup games, your promotions, everything, all of that is up there, for sure. Your number one, Harry?
Yeah, it was very close to Bishop for me, but it was being there for that title lift. I know we said no Barnsley, but you can't not put the whole. Even though we lost, no one gave a fuck that we lost. The players still played half cut. They weren't bothered. They were still pissed. They were still hungover.
I think about how we didn't win that game because I think we had about 18 shots in the last 20 minutes.
I think Wigan turned up, knew they probably were going to have a result. We kind of turned up and thought, no one gives a fuck. We just won the league. We're all still hungover, fans and players, and we were all there for a good time. And we didn't really care about the football game. To be honest, we were more interested in what was going on after. So
I think the only reason why I did make my top 5, because I did think about it, was just where it's kind of a formality when you know you already won it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
So when we beat Cheltenham, we didn't know we were going to be champions going into that game. Do you know what I mean? Didn't even think we would be champions even if we won.
No, of course.
So don't get me wrong, it's lovely and nice, but it just missed that. It just takes that shine off when you don't win it on that last day. Although I prefer the way we did it against Barnsley. I'm not moaning.
No, I understand that.
Daz?
Yeah, mine's the same as Harry, to be honest. Wigan at home, it was one of those games you go into and you're just fucking so relieved, the season was coming to an end, and you know that it's the last, at least for one season anyway, the last League One game at Fratton Park for at least one season. So, I mean, and it's just enjoyable, having a few drinks and not having to worry about the game, and knowing that after the game you're going to see us lift the trophy, seeing all the players come back, and it's a nice moment when you see all like the family and that lot on the pitch, and it was nice to see people like Raggett, obviously with his little kid on there, obviously lifting the trophy, and that was the thing. Some of the player like Raggett, who probably was a very divisive figure, not because of the person he is, but obviously because of the way he plays football. To see him get what I think he deserved was to see us get promoted, Protos champion. He's got a winner's medal. Yeah, it was nice. And I met Conor Shockley's dad, like he was by the side of the pitch. I saw Conor Shockley like waving him over, and I just put my arm around her and went, "Thank you for giving us Conor Shockley." And yeah, it was just a lovely day, and obviously a special mention, obviously to Colby Bishop, obviously him coming back into Preston. Um, should have put that. That should have been in my top 5 as well, to be honest. But yeah, I think for me, just seeing us lift another trophy at home with some mates, having a few drinks, the sun was shining. Yeah, it was that was spot on.
Yeah, fair. I didn't have it in mind, but I can't argue at all. I could just remember before the game getting the players to sign the shirts for my son, so it's something for him to remember. And Connor, like my son thanked Conor Shockley for the best moment of his 11-year life. and Conor Shockley looking up to me and saying, "I've never been told by so many people that they love me," and
well, that's it.
And he will forever be a hero. And going back to Peterborough, actually, is the one reason why I always have a soft spot for Gavin White is that pass to Yengi, because he made that goal happen.
And the Bolton goal.
And it's just them little things that, you have them soft spot for them players last season, don't you? Even if they maybe weren't the best of players. Well, it's like, you're saying about like Raggett getting that medal. I was most happiest for him more than anyone else in that team.
Because he wasn't great at times, was he? But you think of especially that season, the setbacks he had, like on a personal level on the pitch, but on a personal level, the fact that he was already at the club, he was under contract, he was kind of that starting centre half. He then got binned off for Shockley. Then he then came back in when Regan Paul was injured, and it was him and Shockley. And then as soon as McIntyre arrived in January, he got binned off again. And then he had to come back on again and come back again. And he didn't hear anything of any moans or any discontent from him, because he's a top professional. And it would have been tough to start the season as a centre half and you're being dropped, and then you come back and then you dropped again with a new signing because he's clearly not preferred. But without him being who he is and as good as he was with Shockley last season, that league title wouldn't have happened. And I know you can say, like, what if? It's all about what ifs, isn't it? Everything happens for a reason. Like when we signed Tom McIntyre, there was a reason that he got twatted, snapped his ankle, and got sent off within 56 minutes of his debut. Like the footballing gods decided that that's what was going to happen. Because if he didn't, who knows what would have happened? But Raggett played a vital part in us going up, for sure.
Oh, massive vital part. And the abuse he used to get.
Even though he was a bit Bambi on ice at times, but that's just how. But he looked.
Then I felt. I don't know if Mourinho coached it with him, but he didn't look at it at all last season.
He looked on the eye. He looked uncomfortable, but I think actually he was fine. It's just the way his legs worked, and it was the way his body shape didn't necessarily look comfortable doing what he was doing.
Yeah,
it wasn't actually his ability to do it was there. It was just the action of doing it made people think, "Oh my God, he can't do it." But I think he actually did and could.
Yeah, I always said it. He was better on the ball than a lot of people give him credit for. Because I think if you looked at his stats, he barely gave the ball away. And I know he didn't play expensive passes and stuff like that. But for what you needed from playing out from the back, he was absolutely fine. he was unbelievable in the air. I probably could count on one hand how many times he lost the ball. He lost the ball in the air. That's the reason for majority of our corners defending them. He was the only player not marking someone because they just put him in the middle of the 6-yard box and then just allowed him to go and win pretty much everything. But yeah, I'm so happy he had his moment. He deserved it, and I think he got the biggest cheer when the players were coming out, which again it's brilliant. And you probably had a lot of people cheering for him in that moment that probably wanted him out of the club years before. But it's funny how football can do it. And as you said, Harry, him coming in and out of the team, it shows the type of player he is, the type of man he is, that he just gets on with it, no nonsense. And I think, like I think it was Neil Allen. It was they always said the team came back after and to come back for pre-season. He was pretty much always the fittest, so it showed that he did a lot during the summer leading up to pre-season. But apparently he's always been the fittest, which again shows that he knows he's hampered a little bit technically wise than other players. I think he's a great footballer, to be fair, but I'm just saying compared to other players. So he probably realised that he had to work on a few more other things, and fair play to him.
Yeah, no, I think we were all on the same wavelength there. Right, moving on from that then. Again, with time getting on, maybe try and, unless someone's got something to say against what else someone is saying, we kind of do the next bit quick fire.
Yeah, that's fine.
So unless someone says somebody like, "What on earth are you saying?" Try and get through as quick as we can. So first one, the signing of 2024.
Callum Lang has to be Callum Lang.
I'd actually kind of a couple players' special mentions were last season. Lee Evans needed a midfield general, needed an experienced midfielder at that point. He came in and did a good job next to Pack and Moxon at that point. And then from this season, Dazelle and Schmid.
Yep. I think we're all in agreement there with Lang. Player of 2024?
Bishop. Partly because of his return. I know you could go Lang. I was trying to vary it and kind of switch it up a bit. Bishop, because
I went Bishop too.
Just because of the amount of goals he scored last year, and then the fact he managed to return, he gets some mention.
Yeah, I mean, he always gets a special mention, but I think Callum Lang, because obviously he literally bought at the start of the 20 of the year. He hit the ground running I don't think we've had many signings like that in the January, and then at the start of this season, he kept our head above water while Bishop was coming back, I think. But yeah, for me, it's Lang again.
Flop of 2024?
Scully. Honourable mentions to Gavin White and Sammy Silvera. It's hard to pick people when you've won a league title. And Silvera is probably the only one that really has looked completely devoid of any ability that we've had. Because I think even with Sorensen, Kamara and Blair, you can see that there is something there. But apart from literally the first game of the season, Silvera's literally looked like he doesn't know what he's doing. So,
yeah, Silvera for me as well.
Yeah, I went Silvera as well. Surprise player of 2024.
I found that pretty hard.
I found that the easiest.
I found that quite hard. I actually went for Terry Devlin in the end.
Yeah, I went Devlin.
Same here.
Fair enough.
I think it's more of the fact that obviously how he's fitted in this season in at right back. Obviously, I know he left out of the game the other day and stuff like that, but I think how adaptable he's been. It's it's quality.
I'm sure we've all got the same answer. Best game in 2024?
Barnsley at home.
Barnsley, yep.
I thought we were excluding Barnsley.
No, only from the other one.
Okay, Barnsley then.
But what else did you go for, just out of interest?
I actually went for the Oxford game.
The 2-1, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep, cool.
Just because of the crowd and kind of that felt like another, as well as the Peterborough moment. That was kind of the next best one to.
Yeah,
it was more for the crowd.
Oh, yeah, it was brilliant. And the Sadie goal still lives in me.
Oh yes.
Worst game of 2024. There's a few to pick from.
Probably
there is.
again. It's kind of this season, last season. This season, Derby. That was worse than Cardiff and Stoke for me, just because of who they are
Combined.
Yeah.
And for last season was the double loss of losing to Cheltenham and then Orient at home.
Yeah, Derby for me, I just felt that like out of all the games this season, even when we got pumped 6-1 by Stoke, even though again they scored more, I kind of enjoyed the game more, which is a weird thing to say, but at least we looked like we could do something. Where in Derby game there was nothing. So
And then then last but not least, player to watch in 2025.
I went for Terry Devlin again.
I actually went for Swanson because I think judging
Yep.
off the last two games, and I know we've had him for a while, so it's not like he's just turned out of nowhere. Hopefully, I think after those last two performances, if he starts against Bristol City and has another good game, then we could see Zach Swanson, the player that we obviously got from Arsenal.
I'm glad one of you went for Devlin, because it probably is the one really that fits that category. But to go different, I decided to go for Schmidt. Although we know he's good, but I just think he's going to have a really good 2025.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So that's that done. The review of 2024. Harry, over to you for Harry to Emma.
Right, here we go. Episode 17's player. Number 1. I played in.
Is it just one? Sorry, is it just one player?
Just one play this week. Yeah. One back to one.
Yep.
Clue number 1. I played in the MLS.
I don't think there's many Pompey players that played in the MLS. Yeah.
Hence why that's all you get.
So you had who you mentioned the other day, Luke Rogers. Was it Luke Rogers?
No idea.
You know the one that scored against Crawley. You were talking about him last week.
Yeah.
Don't remember. Sorry.
Scored the free kick.
Well, you got
don't remember at all.
You got Jermaine Defoe, didn't you? He went out to
Yep.
Toronto. He played for, didn't he?
Yeah. Technically, the Canadian side, but obviously they play in the MLS, don't they? But yeah, Jermaine Defoe is the one I think of.
Yeah, Luke Rogers. I'm sure he played for New York Red Bulls. Yeah, we got Defoe. Did anyone go to LA Galaxy when they were signing everyone? Just trying to think. There can't be many. Did Panopoulos go out? No, not Panopoulos. Stefan Miglaranzi. Didn't he play in the MLS? If you remember him, Daz.
Yeah, I'm going to recognise it. But I was thinking then just Preki. Was Preki like American Yugoslavian or something?
Yeah, he was a bit similar to Stefan Miglaranzi. He was the same.
So I guess I don't know where Preki played out there. He was one of my favourite players back in the day.
I think didn't he play for Didn't he play for like? Didn't he leave us and go to like Kansas City or something like that?
Yeah, I think he's back in America now. I think.
Well, he's like a coach.
I think he is. Yeah. I swear he like popped up in my head like months ago. I just googled him because I was like, right, I want to see what he's up to. I can't remember what it was he was doing.
I remember he was saying that though. He probably is because he was a manager at one point for like Toronto. I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
That's a good shout. You know what? Preki.
Is it Preki? Harry?
Sorry. No, it's not.
Oh, right, okay.
Well, Harry died then. Okay, question 2. I feel like we got this, Daz. I feel like we're going to get.
Sorry.
Do you know who Preki is, Harry?
No.
I thought you might not.
We'll move on. I was passing the charger to my missus. Sorry. Clue number 2. I played for England under 21s, but switched my allegiance to another country and represented that country in their first and only appearance at a World Cup.
Right. I've got a feeling it's someone like either like Fitzroy Simpson or Paul Hall.
Yeah,
Either
that's what went through my head. It's got to be either Paul Hall or Fitzroy Simpson, but I don't remember either of them going to the MLS.
No. Maybe Paul Hall did. I don't know.
No, I'm sure he didn't, because he's a player I like to follow. Like, he
Yeah.
was one of my favourites growing up, and I followed his career. I'm sure he didn't. Fitzroy Simpson could have done, though.
Yeah.
He could have done. We still got another question, so I suppose.
Is that your guess, Fitzroy Simpson?
Yeah.
Daz, let it be your guess, and
Yeah,
I'll
that's
think
my
of
guess.
another player.
Yeah, that's my guess.
Okay, Daz, that is incorrect.
Right. Okay. I'm convinced it's not Paul Hall. So they played for England under 21s. Thinking about it, Paul Hall never played for England under 21s.
Did not.
Sure, he didn't. I'm pretty confident of that. So I'm staying. If it is Paul Hall, blame me, but I'm sure it's not. England under 21s, and then change nationality. And in the MLS, mate, we should be able to get this easy. Unless it's a player we have like completely under the radar, played in the 80s or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Went to play with New York Cosmo or whatever they were called.
Yeah.
Changed it, and they played at a World Cup. And did you say there was their own? You mean the country's only appearance at a World Cup?
Yes. Sorry. Make sure you listen to the question, Russ. Come on.
No, I thought that's how I took it. I was just confirming, that was all. So who's only played once at World Cup? And I'm assuming African teams are probably high on the list. New Zealand? So we hadn't had a New Zealand player, have we? MLS. I think I'm just going to stick with the MLS route. It can't be Luke Rogers. Can't be Jermaine Defoe.
Hurry up, I want my dinner.
Maybe it is Stefan Migloranzi.
Is that your guess?
Yeah, go on.
Incorrect.
All right, okay.
Third and final clue. I was in the team of the season in my first season at Pompey.
Team of the season.
What? The league team of the season?
Yes.
This has to be Premier League then, surely.
Oh, Jesus.
I might try and see if I can get the countdown music on this.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. And
I'll play.
Oh no, it can't be. It can't be. Ignore me. I was about to say a really stupid answer then, and I'm glad I didn't.
Oh, be stupid, Russ. Come on.
He got in team of the season in his first season.
Could it be like any like African country where he's obviously played England under 8? Did you say under 18s or 21s? 21s, wasn't it?
20.
Yeah, it was
21.
And then obviously, like through his like granddad or something like that, has maybe represented an African team in the World Cup.
One question, Harry. Is the country changed to an African country?
I'm not telling you that. That gives it away.
Right, so that's yes. Just trying to think. I feel like this should be a player we know, but it's not ringing any bells.
Like Congo have never been in the World Cup, have they?
I don't think so.
I think like Loire,
not in my lifetime.
I think someone like Loire or something.
Yeah.
I can't think. I think I'm done.
Give
I
up?
bet it's like a recent player or something there. Because the only other player I can think of is Anton Walks, but it ain't him, is it?
No.
No.
I think I'm just going to have to accept defeat. I thought I was confident, and now I'm completely lost.
You
on then, Harry,
you
who is
both
it?
accept defeat?
Yeah.
Yeah, go
You
on.
are both going to kick yourself silly.
I know I am. Is this someone recent?
Within the last 25 years, yeah.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't call that recent. Then
No.
I thought you say last 5 years.
No. But you're both going to kick yourself. You ready?
Yeah.
Can you wait? Can you just give me like?
No, I'm not
still
giving.
getting it
Oh
wrong.
no, I'm not giving it.
No. I'll still get it wrong.
No. I'm not giving you it this year. This week.
Is it a Premier League player?
Yes.
Right. I'm going to kick myself even more. Go on then.
Shaka Hislop.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Jesus, Trinidad and
Oh,
Tobago.
Trinidad and Tobago. He represented at the World Cup.
I don't even remember him being in the MLS. So do you know what? I never would have got that.
He played 10 times for FC Dallas.
Jesus.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And that's where he finished his career.
I actually don't kick myself because I never knew he went there, and I didn't know he ever played for England at any level. So.
No.
He made one appearance for England under 21.
Oh, Jesus.
And
I like it though because you've gone really rogue with that. Because probably anything else would have been obvious.
yeah, well, that's what you've got to do, isn't it? You've got to try and find the obscure, the obscure clues about each player, because otherwise it doesn't make it fun. Because you've got to just get it.
True.
But there we go. Shaka Hislop.
Well done, Eric. Well done.
Lovely.
Right. Any other business? We've nearly been going for 2 hours. I think this might be the longest episode yet.
Think
Yeah.
I'm all right to finish. I want my dinner.
Cool.
Oh,
Right,
nice.
brilliant, lads. Happy New Year to you both and to everyone listening.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew.
Hopefully, when we come back next Thursday or at normal time. Obviously, yesterday was Boxing Day and we're all busy and so we couldn't meet up. So we'll get together next Thursday. Daz will be hosting, and hopefully we get at least a win. I'd say I'd be happy with.
Yeah.
At least 3 points, I think.
Minimum
or
3 points.
Or 2 points, but they're 2 good draws or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
The context is key.
I think 3 points, maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, so hopefully come 2025, next Thursday, we're happy with what we're talking about. So see you all next time.